Today on the Gay Racing Podcast, the face of NASCAR YouTube, Eric Estepp, joins us to predict the 2026 NASCAR season. Will Connor Zilisch live up to the hype in his rookie season? What drivers do we think will make the chase? And some early bold predictions for NASCAR silly season. Hello. Zack and Alex are back with you here on the Gay Racing Podcast as always. And as mentioned, we have Eric Estepp joining us on the podcast today. Alex and I are so excited to have you, Eric. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. I'm glad we could make this happen still because it's been a wild week. Clash delayed 72 hours. I wasn't sure they were going to finish last night. So, no, I'm glad we could do this. We got a lot to talk about ahead of the new year.
Absolutely. And for anyone who somehow doesn't know who you are, maybe they listen to us, but they don't know you. Can you just kind of give a little recap or summary of who you are?
Sure. I do a show, a daily show on YouTube called Out of the Groove. I've been doing it for a form of it now for like 10. I think this is my 11th year, technically. I started it in college, 2016, around playoff time. Larson's first career win was one of my first episodes. Anyway, it's evolved quite a bit since then, but that's where I usually live. You can also find me on Twitter, usually yapping during the race. I'm pretty quiet during the week, more of an observer than an active tweeter these days. But just love having conversations with fans online. I always say, like, growing up where I did, there were not a lot of NASCAR fans in my day-to-day life. I got my dad into NASCAR, and so I could talk to him, but we had the same favorite driver, the same opinions on everything. So when I went off to school, I'm like, I need to find a way to engage with other race fans my age or just in general. And Out of the Groove has been that outlet all these years. So that's what I do, and that's where you can usually find me.
I'm one of the
OGs, and you do great work.
I watched the Double E Cup series, the diecast series. That was great. I'm one of the OGs, but yeah, it's great to have you on. I'm excited to talk about the NASCAR season because I think the vibe is it's a reset. I heard Jordan Bianchi on the Teardown call it a bit of a reset for NASCAR this year. You know, the chase is back, stuff like the Charlotte Oval is back. We've had rule changes, and there's just a lot of freshness coming into NASCAR this season, Alex.
Yeah, and I think the biggest change or biggest story coming in outside of the chase itself is Connor Zilisch. There was an article posted by the AP today saying that he's the most hyped up rookie since Jeff Gordon.
Yeah.
And I struggle to disagree with that because I've seen Kyle Busch, Joey Logano come along, but I have not seen hype for anyone like I've seen with Connor Zilisch. I wasn't born yet when Jeff Gordon was a rookie. So, I mean, this feels very, very hyped up. And let's start predicting. Is Connor Zilisch going to live up to the hype? Will he make the chase? Will he win? Eric, what do you think about Connor Zilisch for this year?
Yeah, like you guys, I was not around when Jeff Gordon came into the NASCAR Cup Series, but he started winning races pretty quick. He also drove for Hendrick Motorsports pretty quickly, teamed up with Ray Evernham, and they were a dynamic duo. So it's a different situation here with Zilisch because Trackhouse, while they've made deep playoff runs and been in that championship conversation, they're not a tier one team. They're not one of the 2 or 3 powerhouses we talk about on a weekly basis. So I think expectations do need to be reasonable. I'm not picking him to make the chase this year. You got to be top 16 in points. That's tough to do. But I do think he'll win a race. I think there are 4 road courses on the regular season schedule. And we saw in Xfinity last year, I mean, they made contact a few times, but he and SVG were door to door when Shane made select start. So I think Zilisch can get himself a road win.
I think the closest measuring stick we have to Connor Zilisch is Kyle Larson, like his rookie year in 2014. It's kind of, Eric, what you just described. Like he might win or get close to winning, but probably not going to make the chase. I think another thing too is we've seen like Ty Gibbs, who is, a prodigy in Xfinity, or I already messed up 5 minutes. O'Reilly in the O'Reilly series, and he got to the Cup Series and it's really hard to carry that success, even more now with like the next gen car and this platform. It's such a weird car. And as talented as Connor Zilisch is, even though he's driven like so many different types of prototypes and sports cars before, it's going to be hard to just carry that same level of success into the Cup Series. So I think it's reasonable to say that he's not going to make the chase. I won't be surprised if he does, because we've seen rookies make the chase before. even in like the older format. But it's not gonna be easy if he does, and I'm kind of leaning towards he won't.
I'm with you guys. I think he is going to win. I think it's going to be Coda specifically. It's going to be really early in the year. It's going to really surprise
that'd be crazy.
People.
It's going to be hard to get by SVG though. Like that's the thing. Like,
but that's the thing. SVG wasn't that good at Coda last year.
Yeah, I think
it kind of leaves an opening.
He might get it figured out. He's got more experience. He'll be fast enough. He'll be faster. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to make the chase, and I think people might overreact to him not making the chase. It's going to be a lot more difficult to make it. And we've seen, you mentioned Ty Gibbs, but also Chase Briscoe has dominated that series. I mean, Cole Custer dominated that series, and hasn't really shown anything in Cup yet either. I think Zilisch is going to be a star, but it won't be this year. But he's going to get a win, I would say. If not, at least compete for several.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think he's going to be really exciting. I think expecting anything close to what he did in the O'Reilly series last year is getting your hopes up. Although I'll say this, he was second, third place at times in the Clash the other night. I mean, not a bad Bowman Gray debut. So who knows? Who knows?
That's my favorite thing about our prediction videos. We always end up doing it after the Clash, and then we have this like joke where it's like we're taking everything we saw at the Clash for like so much stock. Oh,
because that means everything. The Clash.
Oh yeah,
but
Bowman
we were talking about the O'Reilly series. Connor Zilisch isn't going to be there. He just won 10 races a year ago. Not there. And Patreon member Dirt asked us this question: who is going to replace not just Connor Zilisch in the O'Reilly series, but Corey Heim, who's not in the Truck Series this year, as the top guys in those series?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'll go first because like I think. In O'Reilly, I see Junior Motorsports, like they won a majority of the races last year. Justin Allgaier, he hasn't really been slowing down in his performance. I think it's going to be really hard to kind of knock Justin Allgaier and Junior Motorsports in general off the top. Joe Gibbs Racing, they have a lot of like newer drivers in their O'Reilly program. Still, like Brent Cruz is doing a few races this year. William Sawalich still not that proven. Brandon Jones is there, but yeah, like JRM, Justin Allgaier, it's going to be hard to kind of top them because there's not really any like big name rookies coming into O'Reilly this year that really catch my eye.
Yeah, that's the thing is the top rides in the O'Reilly series, there's a lot of unproven talent in them. Like Raja Karuth. I like Raja. I think he's a solid driver. He's not Connor Zilisch, so he's not going to dominate in that 88 car the way Connor did. Right. Nick Sanchez made the playoffs last year. They replaced him with an eye doctor. Like I don't know how that team's going to run. He might do fine. I doubt he's going to win a race and do as well as Sanchez did. And then, you mentioned JGR has a lot of young guys. So it kind of comes down to the Jesse
Justin Allgaier
Hills and Justin Allgaier. It's those three, because even the Haas guys, they switched from Ford to Chevy. They'll probably still be good, but that's a big change. We'll see if Sam Mayer and Sheldon Creed Creed's still looking for that first win, but they're always knocking on that door. I just think the top of the O'Reilly series is wide open this year, just because there are so many unproven. I mean, I'm excited to see what Corey Day can do in a full season with Hendrick. Yeah. You mentioned Brent Cruz. Like those young guys might make some noise, but they also might not. And that could open the door for some of those, those second tier teams that maybe have alliances, have leased motors. Maybe we see more of those guys break into the top 5, top 10, the Anthony Alfredos, the Jeremy Clements of the world, the Ryan Sieg, you know who I'm talking about.
It's like the battle for 5th and 10th this year is going to be insanely competitive. Like the battle for first, it might not be. It might just be the Jesse Love, Justin Allgaier show, but like the battle for the rest of the top 10 is going to be really, really fun to watch.
I really thought Jesse Love really started coming into his own at the end of last year. I know his championship kind of got overshadowed by Connor Zilisch winning 10 and the format that we don't have anymore. But I do think Jesse Love has really shown a lot of improvement, especially last year. He could totally go on a tear, especially with Zilisch not there. Allgaier, of course, he could do that as well. Austin Hill, though, is really interesting because most of his wins are on the super speedways, but he is still really good on the grand scheme of all the tracks. And we haven't really seen him have a breakout year yet outside of winning a bunch of Daytona, Atlanta, and Talladega. I'd be curious to see if that could happen.
Yeah, I can't. It's hard to put stock into Austin Hill out of the drafting tracks, especially, when he has trouble keeping his nose clean. So I don't know. It's hard to see him like taking that throne that Connor Zilisch is leaving.
Yeah. Well,
He's a decent road racer. I don't know if it'll be how many starts SVG and Zilisch will make, but yeah.
Right. Well, then you look at the truck series. I'm admittedly less knowledgeable about the truck series as of late.
I had to check J-Ski. I was like, who's this anymore? Sometimes
Justin
it's hard to watch them. I don't know.
Justin Haley's in trucks this year full-time for Colleague. I don't know how well Dodge and Ram are going to do. But I mean, Justin Haley, I would think, would have to be pretty good at, not just have to be as expectations, but in order to get a ride back in Cup in the future. So that'd be my pick.
Some truck races. He's won some truck races before, I believe, back when GMS was a thing. So no, Justin Haley, if Dodge or Ram is good, he should be good. I think Butterbean should be good as well if those trucks are good. I think. Yeah, you're asking about a Corey Heim replacement. I don't think we'll get a 12-win season, but I think the guy who I would not be surprised if Heim's literal replacement, Caden Honeycutt, leads the series and wins next year, just because I think he's a good driver, not as proven as Heim, but he's good. And it's the same crew chief. It's the same equipment. Like, he's going to be given a top 2 to 3 truck every single week. I think Honeycutt's good enough to win 4 or more races. And I think if he wins less than 4, it's a disappointment, which it sucks to have those kinds of high expectations. But, what's the Spider-Man line? Great responsibility, power comes response.
Yeah.
You should win. You've been given
a great truck comes great responsibility to win a lot of races. That's the thing about Tricon, because I don't know if this is like confirmed, but their strategy seems like they put a lot of resources into the 11 truck. And of course, when you have Corey Heim, you will do that. I'm curious to see what that looks like this year with their other trucks on that team, because it's a multi-truck organization. But besides, Corey Heim's literal replacement in Honeycutt, my question just falls on Ram. Like, how will Ram perform? Colleague Racing, like, they've never really had a truck team. So is that going to be a learning curve for them? I'm not really sure what that's going to look like. And I don't think we're going to know until like March.
Right. And let's go back to the Cup series, because Zach, you've been saying for quite a while now that Kyle Busch is never going to win again.
And I've been right so far. I said this in like 2024. Like, it's
been a while.
I don't know exactly when it was, but it might have been like near the end of 2023, but it's been holding up for a long time now. And I've had some close moments.
The question is Kyle Busch going to have a rebound year? Zach, I'm assuming you're a no.
A rebound year? I don't see why this year would be anything different for Kyle Busch.
Okay.
I mean, he's already. They asked him about the chase format, which he should be, nostalgia baited by that. But he's like, nah, it's just still the same problems as we had before. It's not looking good, y'all.
Yeah, those comments definitely, like, some might interpret them as, oh, he's just being realistic. The only guys that win a lot are Hendrick, Penske, and Gibbs. Like, yeah, that's fair. He's right. He's just being realistic. But I don't know. I took it as that's a little cynical even for Kyle Busch. The season hasn't even begun yet. And you're already going into it with, best we can hope for is 12th. It's like, okay, Kyle, like, I don't know. You've won races with RCR. It wasn't that long ago. I mean, I think this could be a slightly better season than last season. It could also be worse. He has a new crew chief. That could be good. That could be bad. He's in a contract year. That could be good. That could also be bad if they got off to a slow start and he starts looking elsewhere. We'll just see how committed he really is to the 8 team this year.
I might have a prediction about Kyle Busch's contract for next year later, so stick around for that.
Yeah.
RFK, they just won the Clash. And historically, recent years at least, since they've been moving the Clash from Daytona, the Clash winners had a pretty darn good year. Do we think not just RFK, but Ryan Preece could have a good year? Could all 3 cars win a race this year? Let's start with you, Eric.
I've been very positive about RFK this offseason. They finished last year strong. Keselowski was off to such a horrible start, but if you look at the last 20 races of the year, he had like a 13th or 14th place average finish, like really solid. Buescher is always solid. Preece had 5 straight top 15s to finish last year, and then he just won the Clash. So I guess you could argue Ryan Preece is the hottest driver in NASCAR right now. Yeah. I don't think it's going to last. I don't think these are a championship caliber organization, but I picked 2 of the 3 to make the chase, Preece being one of them. I almost picked all 3, but I'm a little worried about Brad Keselowski's leg injury. I hope he can get through these next 2 weeks unscathed. If so, hopefully starts to build strength back and he'll be good the rest of the way. But that has me a little worried right now.
And RFK is probably the organization that wins the most going away from the win and in format, because they are most, just as an organization, they seem to be the most like consistent team that just doesn't really win that much. Like they're always, Chris Buescher seems to always be the guy missing the playoffs or now the chase, or the playoffs on points. But now with winning in gone, I think Chris Buescher and Ryan Preece can both realistically make the chase and be heavy in that fight. So I think it's a good year for them, but Brad, I'm a little concerned about. Even before the injury, it's just, even when Brad Keselowski does everything right, it's just like nothing. He just can't close out the win, and at most weeks, like it's a miracle he got that win at Darlington. It feels like. So I don't know about RFK, but I have more to say about them later in the show during a segment. But we'll save it for that.
So I think Chris Buescher specifically is going to have a really good year. I think because of the chase, you're not going to be trying to do different weird strategies to try winning. I think they're able to focus more on just having solid runs because they shine in consistency. I think it's going to really benefit them.
That's his style too. Like, I mean, he won a full season championship in the O'Reilly series in 2015. Like the last time they did that, like he is a points racer, Chris Buescher is, and Ryan Preece too. Like, you know, those consecutive top 15 finishes, as Eric mentioned. This chase format's probably a big win for RFK more than any other teams, I feel like.
And fun fact real quick about Buescher, you mentioned he's been the first guy out. He literally has finished 17th in points the last 2 years, and he had a 14.3 average finish each of the last 2 years. So he is very, very consistent.
Wow.
Yeah. He always is like the highest like non-playoff guy on my, like, I run a stat sheet some years, and he's always up there.
So I want to switch to a different team. I think I'm going to have less positive things to say. Spire, with their new lineup of Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, and Carson Hocevar, is that team going to be successful? Patreon member Finley says none of them will get top 20 in points.
None of them?
I think it's a little bold. I don't know if I would go that far. But
I mean,
Zach,
I'm ready to
reaction
talk
to that.
I'm ready to talk about, like, is Carson Hocevar going to make the chase? When and if is he going to finally win his first race? Like, that's what I'm ready to talk about. Not if he's going to make top 20 in points. His teammates, I think that's a fair discussion. But Carson Hocevar, I mean, he just announced, like, a very long contract extension today till, like, I don't even know what year. Like, it's him in the Miami Grand Prix. We're going to be 35 years old watching Carson Hocevar and the Miami Grand Prix, like the longest contract extensions I've ever seen. Carson's just feeling good coming into this year. I was just watching his Twitch stream coming in. He's just having a good time, in a good mood. I think this is the year of Hocevar. Not saying he's going to win like a bunch of races, but I think the win's coming.
I mean, it's hard for me to disagree. So I did pick Hocevar to make the chase as my 16th and final seed. And, you know, last year, you know, to the question, you know, none of the Spire cars were top 20 last year. I think Hocevar and McDowell were 22, 23, something like that. But for Hocevar, he ranked 13th in stage points earned last year, but he finished 23rd in points. That's because they had a ton of DNFs. You'd think, oh, it's Hocevar driving like a lunatic. Most of them actually were random mechanical failures. He blew a motor leading the Coca-Cola 600. So right, my gut says they're going to clean some of that up. They might not. It might get worse. You never know. But I like odds of him having, I think it was 5 mechanical DNFs, and that does not include the flat tire he had leading Michigan. So, you know, I just imagine a couple of those are going to break their way this time. And if that's the case, he gets a win or at least salvages more points. I think top 20 is absolutely in the cards. And I'm going bold and saying he will go top 16, and we'll see if it happens.
No, I agree. I think Carson's going to get that win at some point. And he was, even if he doesn't, he was up there in points, like in contention in the bubble last year before the summer, which was just awful for him. I think he's going to be at least in contention. I could definitely see him getting the win, and I think it'll be on a mile and a half if it were to happen.
This being his third year, I think he's learning how to put a season together, especially with this new format. It's going to reward really putting a season together. That's going to be the focus. It's just going to be, I think putting him like near the bubble is definitely a very accurate spot. think
Definitely.
fighting for, which will be very entertaining, by the way, seeing him on the bubble at Daytona.
But the other part of this lineup, Daniel Suarez and Michael McDowell, I am with Finley. They are not going to be top 20 in points. I don't think they're going to win unless it's like Daytona or Talladega or something.
Yeah.
This team is going to be in more incidents than any other team, I think.
They will be bringing out cautions, actually.
Yeah. Do you remember?
No
I think it was the
disrespect.
weekend Suarez got announced to Spire. He ended up crashing another Spire car, was involved in a crash with Spire.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I think Suarez has a lot he feels he needs to prove. This is probably his last shot with a team that's not just a big team, but a team that could become a big team. Because Spire has a lot of aspirations to become a Penske, a Hendrick, and a Gibbs. And I think they will get there one day. But it's just, I don't see it right now for Suarez. And McDowell, I think that's not happening either. What do you guys think about those two?
Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, yeah, no, I think Michael McDowell last year was a little disappointing. I thought he'd be noticeably better than his years at front row, and he was kind of the same as his years at front row. He's a good driver, obviously a veteran, brings some experience. He did great at Chicago, and then the car broke, which happened a lot to Spire last year. So, I wouldn't rule out him being on that bubble, being in that conversation. I'm not picking him to make the chase. Daniel Suarez, I agree. He has a lot to prove. Finished top 5 in the Clash. I mean, it was wet, it was slippery. I'm not going to read too much into it, but I mean, that's a good first impression. I don't see Suarez. He's never been able to put it together for a full season. So if I had to bet, he's a 25th place guy this year, unfortunately, but I hope I'm proven wrong, because he's a fun guy to root for when he's feeling it.
For sure, man. That Mexico City win he had in the O'Reilly Series last year was magical, and I'm glad he's still in the Cup Series for that. But and now let's move on to Denny Hamlin, and we have a Patreon comment from Phil who says Denny is going to win the championship this year, and I think we're in year 55 of saying that. But Denny Hamlin,
this is like the 5th time you presented that to the class. Like,
yeah,
like come on, no, Denny's gonna win the championship. Okay.
Is this the year? I think there's so much turmoil, personal turmoil as well, that I don't know if anyone can overcome that. I'd love to see it, especially after how last year ended, and I hope nothing but the best for him this year. But what do we think about Denny Hamlin?
My thought after, and this is just after the championship, is it's gonna be a big deal if Denny Hamlin can come back and be competitive and win races. Just after that, the loss of the championship, and then everything that has happened with his parents, and apparently he's like torn his shoulder again going through the rubble. That was reported the other day. It's going to be a huge deal when he wins again. Like, how that win at Las Vegas was like a huge moment for Denny Hamlin and his fans. I think his next win, wherever it is going to be a huge deal. And I say that too, because I don't know if Denny Hamlin can have as competitive of a season as he had last year. He's going to slow down one of these years. It could be this year. And there's like other little things floating in my mind. Like JGR had a lot of mechanical gremlins in the playoffs last year. Are we done with those? Like, did they get those figured out in the off season? It's hard for me to put 100% confidence in Denny Hamlin coming into this year because of his turmoil and just because of other factors. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, but it's hard for me to put 100% into him.
I think also Chris Gabehart leaving Joe Gibbs Racing, you got to ask a question about the team. Like, are they going to be as quick firing up? They look fine at Bowman Gray, but I know I'm doing that thing where I'm overreacting to what we saw at a quarter mile parking lot track. But no, I think Denny, he said it the other day, his season could go one of two ways. Last year he was great at blocking out the noise, the distractions, and had one of his best years ever. But there's also the possibility that it all adds up, the mental stuff, the physical stuff, the different competition. Is this the year of his age? Does that all finally catch up with him this year? I don't know. I agree. I think he's going to win multiple races and will be in that conversation in October, November. But there's also a world of, what was it? Was it 2013 was that year. He had the back injury and I think went win. Or no, he won. I think he won Homestead at the very end of the year. He got to win, but he almost went winless that season. Like Denny doesn't have a lot of winless seasons. That was the last time we saw it. I think he's going to be good, but I don't know that he'll be as dynamic as he was at the end of last season.
I don't know what to say for Denny Hamlin. He could either never win again, which Zach, we've talked about on here since his win earlier in the year last year. Like, this could be his last win, you guys, because he's getting up there in age.
I made that prediction last year. He's like, I said, Denny Hamlin, it's finally the year where he never wins again. And then he won 6 races.
We were fresh off of Truex retiring and Harvick before that. It's just like, you don't know when their last win's going to be. It could be any time now. We could have already seen his last win. He could win another 6 this year. Neither would surprise me. My heart wants him to just kick everyone's ass and win it, just to have redemption from all the hell he went through the last year. But then my head says, man, I don't know. I think he'll win a race or 2. But I don't know if he'll actually be in the championship hunt.
I will say it's been probably the longest. Go ahead, Eric.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to say one little technical detail that I think helped him win all those races last year is that NASCAR and Goodyear keep creating softer tires. It's more about tire management, stuff. And like we saw a lot of the short tracks last year in like Phoenix, where they had that really soft left side tire. Who dominated? Denny Hamlin. I do think that trend has helped Denny later in his career. So sorry, I just wanted to add that detail. Give the Hamlin fans.
So you're right. It fits his style, and for someone like Denny Hamlin, who's had the longest offseason of anybody out here, starting it with a court case, ending it with tragedy, getting back in that car is probably exactly where he wants to be, and it could really just motivate him to be the best race car driver that there is in NASCAR right now. So and again, his next win's going to be huge, and it might not come this month, it might not come next month, it might take a while, it might not happen, but it'll be huge if it does.
For sure. Let's stick with Toyota, because Tyler Reddick is a really interesting driver, because a few years ago he was like he's going to win a race or 2. But then lately he's been really quiet, much more quiet. He went to the championship 2 years ago. Then last year, did he win last year? I don't think he did, right?
No, he didn't.
Our Patreon member Finley says Tyler Reddick's going to win multiple races this year, return to that form. Do we expect that as well from Tyler Reddick?
I mean, I don't know exactly why I don't. It's just some
Eric,
of his wins
going
in the
back
past
and forth.
have been very like 2024. He won Talladega and Homestead in very like erratic fashions. Like he's just not really. He hasn't had that kind of consistency really at all. Like last year, he was high like in average. Or not average finish, but like he was kind of best of the rest. Like there was like 6 guys who kind of like set themselves apart in the stats, and then Tyler Reddick was there, like right under it. But he just wasn't really the same level of consistency to win a championship. So he could win a race. I wouldn't say multiple. Like, just came off a win this season.
That's where I'd go with it. I think maybe a win is in the cards this year. I mean, his teammate did win the Brickyard 400, so those cars were still pretty good. We're only 2 years removed from him winning the regular season championship, and I know it wasn't the flashiest style, but they did do that. I think they did it largely. They just didn't make any big mistakes. They had very few catastrophic days. And that was kind of the case last year, too. Even though they didn't have winning speed, he didn't make a ton of mistakes. They didn't ruin top 10 days very often. So I think if they can keep doing that and then find another gear, I would be surprised if he goes win this again. This is a guy that had multiple multi-win seasons in Richard Childress Racing equipment. Right. Like if he can do that, he can do fine in his current situation.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to win a race or 2. I don't know if he's going to be a championship contender the way he was 2 years ago, but I think he'll be definitely better this year. Yeah. And now here's another guy who's everyone's talking about is SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen. Does he make the chase this year? That's kind of been the topic of discussion I've noticed the most since the chase was announced to come back. And some people, Zach included, ran a simulation of what the points would have looked like last year with the format, and SVG would have made the chase by 2 points.
Wow.
And that's with those wins. And we're losing 2 of those 2 road course races, so he wouldn't make it in hypothetical if he runs as well as he did this year.
Well, one of them was in the playoffs, so it's really only one.
True.
He's losing one,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's going to actually win COTA. So, but you don't think he's going to win COTA. So
we have we have two Patreon comments about SVG. Phil says that he will make the chase, and Brett says that he thinks SVG is going to win on an oval this year.
Oh,
I'm assuming that means like a mile and a half, not like Daytona, Talladega, or Atlanta.
I mean,
yeah,
like short track, maybe even. I can see a short track, but I don't know. It's going to be hard to beat the Penske, Hendricks, and Gibbs if you're not, unless you're
strategy,
at, again, like a weird track.
Yeah,
maybe strategy if it's like a strategy track like Pocono or something. But it's going to be hard for anybody. It's going to be hard for Ross Chastain, much less SVG. Trackhouse, as Eric said, like at the beginning of the episode, Trackhouse isn't really like that. They're not one of the big three teams. They're that second tier. Like they might win a race or a lot of races with SVG at road courses, but it's going to be SVG in particular. I kind of want to put him in the chase because if he wins all 4 road courses, that is a lot of points.
Right.
I mean, and he's going to, I think he'll do better on ovals this year. And if you go off last year in that simulation that me and other people were running, like it should put him back in the chase, but everyone's going to be racing for points this year. I would put him in, but I understand if you wouldn't put him in the chase.
I'm putting him in because I think even though he's losing one regular season road race, I still think, I think now wins pay an extra 15 or points or whatever it is. I think that might make up for the lack of one road course race. I do think he'll get better at the ovals. I'm going to pull, I did this calculation a few days ago. In the first 11 oval races last year, and these are a mix of super speedways and short and everything. Right. But in the first 11, he had almost a 29th place average finish. He was pretty terrible. He was terrible.
Yeah.
But in the final 19, he was down around 22nd place average finish. He improved his average finish by almost 6 spots over the course of the year. If he can get that down to like 20th, I mean, Austin Cindric had a 21st place average finish last year, just across the entire series. Like if SVG can be around 21st on ovals and then win 2 or 3 road courses, I mean, yeah, the math may or may not work out. We'll see, but I think he's got a real shot.
No, I agree. He's definitely getting better on the ovals. He's getting a lot better on the ovals. And that first round of the playoffs last year, if he would have just not overthought Darlington, the crew chief, or whoever's call that was, he was running really good at Darlington.
That weird strategy, yeah.
And then at Kansas, he was running really well. He was eliminated at that point. He was running like top 15. Gateway, he was running really well until he got spun out. He has shown a lot of promise on the road courses, or on the street. The road courses, yeah, definitely. On the ovals, he's shown a lot of promise. I think to at least become a top 15 guy eventually. Will that happen this year? I don't know. I don't think he's going to win one unless it's a fuel mileage.
Yeah, I don't think he wins an oval.
Another kind of
really weird.
Yeah. Which NASCAR likes to have weird oval races, to be fair. That is true. So there's plenty of opportunities for everyone, not just SVG.
It would have
and
to
we've been mentioning the...
Sorry, Zach. I was going to say, it could have been that Nashville race Joey Logano won. It'd have to be like something like that for SVG to win. Just like 20 overtimes, everyone's wrecked, and then he makes it through. But yeah, Zach, you were about to say, we've been talking about the chase a lot. Return of the chase.
It's very impactful, I feel like, because it keeps coming up in our discussion. I think I kind of have a theory it's going to change how these teams race, like every single race, how they approach the season. I'm curious on how fans are going to perceive the chase at the end of the season. Been more mixed than I would think. Mixed reception. I don't know how you personally feel about it, Eric. I'm very happy with it. This was
Me too.
Not only at first it was my bare minimum, but they brought back the chase in a much simpler way than I would have brought it back. And I'm just like, oh no, this is actually perfect.
Yeah, I think the strongest argument in favor of this new format is its simplicity. It passes the elevator pitch test. I don't love, and I understand maybe for contractual and just, for consistency's sake, I don't love 16 drivers being in. I do think that sort of devalues what it means to be a chase team. At the same time, if they were to drop it to 10 or 12, you might get a Ross Chastain in there, but otherwise it's all going to be Gibbs, Penske, and Hendrick, at least with 16. Okay. Yeah. You know, Bubba Wallace is in, Shane Van Gisbergen made it in, Chris Buescher made it in. So, you know, it does allow some of those other teams to get that exclusive label. I get it, but it's going to be a less interesting conversation in July and August than it would have been if it was like top 10 and we're debating if, you know, Alex Bowman can hang on. Exciting. So I like it. Okay. I think, yeah, it's simple. That's good. It blends, you know, full season consistency, get good results, maximize your points days with, hey, final 10 weeks, you got to step it up you got to find another gear. You know, I'm a big stick and ball sports fan. I know NASCAR fans hate to make those comparisons, but I've grown up very used to the idea of, hey, you got to perform in October if it's baseball. You got to perform in January and February if it's football. Like the regular season's important for seeding, for all that. But when you get to the playoffs, that's where legends are made. And I know NASCAR isn't the same way it's not even close, but I don't mind challenging these teams to step it up down the stretch. The old format was too convoluted. The forced tiebreaker at Phoenix every year was silly. So I think this is a much better compromise. I also think NASCAR was brilliant in getting Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Mark Martin to be so heavily involved in the rollout. Awesome. I think from a messaging standpoint, that won a lot of people over that otherwise would not have been won over quite so easily. But messaging is important, and they killed it there.
Absolutely. And I'm so excited. I'm so glad I'm not going to be exhausted. Like 2 weeks into the playoffs, we're already talking about the cut line. I'm so glad we're not going to talk about a cut line for 10 weeks. Like, oh my gosh, it's going to be great. It's going to feel like the championship is the emphasis again. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this year. And I think I'm very curious how fans are going to perceive this once we're in, you know, October, maybe even December, like after it's all happened, this dust has settled. Are fans going to be happy? Probably not everyone. I don't think that'll ever happen again.
No way.
But, you know, I think
it's going to be, you know, like 2014, like, you know, even though we still were kind of critical, there were a lot of people like, wow, the elimination format is great. The first year of anything, even if it's something that's coming back, it's going to be the most positive reaction I feel like that you can have, because we're not like sick of it yet. And I could see in 3 or 4 years, fans will be like, man, this guy had such a good regular season, but he didn't ended up winning the championship. But like right now, we're comparing this to what we had like a year ago, and the championship battle that we could have set up with, you know, the Penske cars, the Hendrick cars, the Gibbs cars, just how tight the next gen era is with performance. I think it's going to be a really good reaction once we get to November, and it's at Homestead too. Like the championship races at Homestead. Perfect. I think it's just the nostalgia is going to hit everybody. I promise. Definitely.
Yeah. I think besides just being a simpler format, which is its biggest strength, I think its second greatest strength is that we won't have that exhausting, did this guy deserve it conversation in November that we seem to have almost every year. And I mean, there's a chance it could come up. You know, there's some folks out there who still claim, you know, hey, Jeff Gordon should be the 2007 champion. And Jeff Gordon, I mean, that average finish was insane. Jimmy won 10 races that year. Like, I'm not losing any sleep over Jimmy Johnson being the 2007 champ, but some people do. Right. Those conversations may come up, but it won't be anything like the Logano conversations, or even Larson this year, even though he had a championship caliber season, the way he won it at the end, like that debate will be much less exhausting. So that part I am very much looking forward to.
Definitely. And man, if we get this is like top wish, not even prediction, but a wish. If we get a 2011 tier chase this year,
that'd be great.
Like chef's kiss. Like I would be so happy. And like if we have someone like a Tony Stewart in 2011 who was like mediocre all year and then wins 5 races, that'd be awesome. In the last format, it would have been like, well, this is stupid. But now it'd be really cool again.
Yeah. But it's going to be so much harder to, what you guys said. It's going to be so much harder to debate who the champion is in November.
So now we're going to kind of shift gears a little bit. More fun predictions here. I'm really excited for this question. So I want to ask you guys, and I have a big one I'm very confident about, actually. Maybe I'll be wrong. But what is a breaking news headline we will see this year that will impact the 2027 season? I'm going to go first. I'm curious what you guys think.
All right, glasses.
We're all wearing glasses.
Oh, we are.
I know. Well, you was like,
Wow.
you don't want to be the only one with our glasses today. Alex does not normally wear glasses, but he's like, oh, Eric's going to be on. I gotta have glasses. I can't be the only one not having glasses.
So
Go ahead, glasses. What's your prediction?
my prediction is that Kyle Busch is going to retire at the end of the year from Cup.
Ooh.
I was
That's
not
good.
expecting you to say, what? That actually caught me. Wait.
Wow.
I mean,
I think
I
know he had like this game plan. He's going to wait for Brexton, but I think he's going to go to trucks. I think he's just like, I'm not having fun.
Ooh.
I want to go win races, and in trucks I can do that. I can go win a truck championship before Brexton turns 16. We can share the car at that point. He's going to do a little bit earlier than he said he was going to.
I mean,
Where's he going to go?
I could see when you were talking about like Colleague and Dodge, I was thinking like the Cup car, like getting Kyle Busch to start the Dodge program in the Cup Series. I could see that. I thought he was going to go to Colleague when he was leaving JGR. I remember, that silly season.
And the comment you're referring to, we have a Patreon comment from Phil that says Kyle Busch is going to go to Dodge next year. But I'm assuming that means to Colleague. They don't say which team, but I assume that's to Colleague.
Yeah, I could see Kyle Busch going to Dodge. I don't think he's going to stay at RCR, even because I don't think he's going to.
Even if he doesn't retire, I don't see him staying there.
He seems too stubborn to just leave the Cup Series, though. I don't know. Like, am I wrong?
I don't think he likes losing. That's why he's all grumpy. He's always grumpy.
So he's not quitting on a loss. He's got to get a win before he goes out.
That's why he's going to go down to trucks and start winning.
Oh.
Kyle Busch is a Corey Heim replacement.
He's going to stay in the ranked queue. He's playing a video game and he's salty. He's going to stay in the ranked queue. He's not going out of trucks. He's got to get that win in the Cup Series. He's not going.
Eric, what do you think of my prediction there?
I think both the way both of you are psychoanalyzing Kyle Busch from afar, I think both are quite plausible conclusions. Honestly, I think he is stubborn. I also think he might want to go win races wherever. I just Googled Brexton's age just to remind myself. He's only 10 years old still. That's like Kyle's gonna have to.
That's a long time.
He's gonna have to stay in Cup for 5 more years probably to then be able to go do his deal in trucks and split the ride.
See that.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. I'm 50-50 on if he stays at RCR. I don't think let me put it this way. I don't think he wants to stay at RCR, but there's a universe where in June, July, he's looking around and is like, shoot, this is my only option, or this is my only good option. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Daniel Suarez is probably on a 1-year deal. Is the 7 available? That'd be the 4th driver in 4 years. Is that appealing? It's probably more appealing than the 8 right now. Hendrick Motorsports with Alex Bowman. Like, I don't know. I don't think Kyle Busch is the first guy they're calling if they do let go of Bowman. So I just I don't see where he's going to go. That's a clear step up. So I think he probably either stays at RCR or ends up, in one of those kind of lateral teams. But I'd be surprised if he retires. I'm not going to go that far. I would be surprised. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer.
The only teams I could see are the 7 to replace Suarez if he has just a bad season or something, or it'd be to Colleague. And maybe AJ Allmendinger goes down to the truck team or something, or doesn't want to do Cup. I don't know, because Allmendinger's done the O'Reilly Series here and there. Like maybe it's 16. I just don't see a path where he gets a good car again and he's happy in Cup.
Isn't there a thing? I don't know if that's still with this charter agreement. If a new manufacturer comes into the sport, don't they get like a free charter or something?
I don't know.
Or is that not a thing?
I'm not sure if free is the right word, but I do believe they are essentially given a charter. Yes.
Yes, like they're guaranteed to be able to buy one. Basically,
I think it may be free.
Of that nature.
Charters are unlocked. Yes, more charters would be available. Yeah.
Like, so if Dodge and Colleague team up for the Cup car next year, that opens and they need drivers, getting Kyle Busch, a veteran, might be, and I know Allmendinger's a veteran, but just getting Kyle Busch might be the star power they need. I don't know. I don't know if that's how they're thinking. I don't know if that will happen, but I kind of almost see that as the most likely option, though, actually, than him going down the trucks or staying at RCR. Actually,
I love that theory. It's just going to come down to can Ram, Dodge get their 2027 Cup program off the ground by 2027, because that's less than a year from now, and
that is
they got to develop a whole engine. There's a lot that still has to be done. I don't know how realistic that is, so we'll see. That feels like a 2028 task, and what's Kyle Busch doing? What's his situation by then? We'll see.
Right.
There could be maybe then like a lame duck year where Kyle Busch is at Colleague still in Chevy. There could be that, or maybe he goes down to trucks for a year, and then he comes back to Cup. So we are both right. That would be crazy.
I will add too that Jesse Love is in the RCR pipeline, as is Austin Hill.
Oh, true.
They are both probably wanting to go to Cup, and they both have sponsorship behind them. Kyle Busch doesn't really have sponsorship behind him anymore. So I just don't see. I'll at least minimize my prediction to say I still think I'm right, for the record, but I will minimize it to say at minimum I don't think he's at RCR next year.
Yeah, I think that one's more realistic.
Good for him.
Good for him. Free Kyle.
and I'm not saying Kyle Busch would go here, but keep an eye on Legacy Motor Club, because remember, they settled their lawsuit with Rick Ware, so they're going to have a third charter for next season.
That's right.
What are
I didn't even think.
And I know Jimmy's been linked to Jesse Love, and but Toyota's been linked to Jesse Love. He won an ARCA championship in a Toyota. That you mentioned Jesse Love, and I'm like, oh yeah, don't forget, Legacy's got a third car too next year. What happens there? We'll see. So I doubt that's Kyle Busch, but it could shake things up.
That is interesting. Hey, Corey Haim's available. Yeah, like there's other people out there who could go there. Do you guys have a prediction for a headline that could impact 2027?
I've got one.
I have one, but you go ahead, Eric. I'll save mine.
I feel like mine's not as flashy. It's not going to spark the debate that Alex.
That's why I started it.
I'm going to say we spent a lot of time on Spire with their building. Hocevar, they just made a 4 or 5+ year commitment to Carson Hocevar. When Chris Gabehart left JGR, I heard, and there were some rumors immediately that he was headed to Spire. It hasn't happened yet, but I think it will happen by 2027. My guess is it was kind of not the most amicable exit from JGR, and so there's probably something in his contract, a non-compete of sorts, that prevents him from going to a competitor right off the bat. But I think as soon as that expires, maybe by this time next year, I would not be surprised if Spire makes a big technical splash and goes and gets Chris Gabehart to elevate their program.
I like that. I could see that. Especially because it's been rumored. Yeah.
They've been knocking on the door. The only thing that concerns me is, like, they got Rodney Childers, and then somehow they made him leave. Like what? I still don't understand. That concerns me. Like, how do you just get Rodney Childers and then he runs out the door? That whole race team it's not. I'm not saying that there's a weird vibe with that race team. Like, they're putting a lot into Carson Hocevar, sign on contract. It gives me a little bit of anxiety. That whole team, like it's hard to know if this is going to be the year they do bust down that door. But I could see Chris Gabehart coming in.
Part of the uncertainty, I think, comes from the fact that, like, Jeff Dickerson is the face sort of running things. But a couple of years ago, that large conglomerate TWG Global came in, and now they're like, I think they're majority owners. And that's the group that, has reinvented the Dodgers. They own the Lakers. They own F1. They're working with Andretti to go F1 race. Like, they are
Cadillac,
making huge splashes across across sports. And so but they're this big faceless machine. And I think that's what's a little unnerving, is this big faceless machine seems to have endless money, but who's directing things? Is it Jeff Dickerson? Who is? It's a little.
They have their own Jim France.
I get where the weirdness is coming from. Yeah.
They have their own Jim France, just hiding behind the curtain.
Behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Zach, do you have a headline prediction?
I won't even call this. Yes, it's a prediction, but it's also just kind of it's just a thought I want to put out there. And I'm going to draw a parallel to IndyCar. Team Penske had that huge controversy with the cheating scandal. Cheating, I'm going to put it in quotations because cheating's a very harsh word to call what it was. Like with the attenuators at the Indy 500 qualifying last year. And then IndyCar started their own officiating council. NASCAR, they've had their own kind of issues with officiating in terms of consistency. I'm also just wondering, like Hendrick Motorsports, there's been a more and more, I guess, calling out of Hendrick. I don't want to really call it favoritism because I feel like I don't have enough evidence to call it favoritism, but more and more people keep noting it. Like, Hendrick got to work with the Garage 56 program and they got like time to do testing for it that involved like the Cup cars. And then last night, as soon as the Hendrick cars are running out of fuel, they were like, oh, now everyone can fill up their cars. There's been other situations like the Martinsville playoff situation where it's like they made a call and it got Byron into the playoffs. I feel like this year there's going to be a huge moment where it's like it's going to be really hard to ignore any Hendrick and NASCAR favoritism. I'm not saying that it's there, but I feel like there's going to be a moment where that conversation is going to kind of spill over and they're not going to be able to ignore it anymore. That's my like bold prediction. I think that's finally going to come to it's going to what's the phrase? You can't hide it under the rug anymore, I guess. It's there.
It's going to bubble over.
It's going to bubble over, whatever you want to call it.
So you're not saying it's a thing, but you're saying that I don't want something that happens to make it look like it is. Kind of like with the Penske, because Penske owns the IndyCar series and how that kind of looks bad over there.
I feel like I phrased it where my journalist was coming out and I was like, I'm not saying that this is happening, but that is also exactly what I'm saying. Like, it's like everyone knows, like, I don't.
It would be very NASCAR for some sort of scandal to happen after this kind of good wave of momentum we've been on since the trial ended. Everyone's kind of more happy. We're seeing Kumbaya together. Then a boom, controversy. I mean, the Clash doesn't really
not
matter.
the Clash, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I could see a controversy of some sort.
Like, it's going to be something that like we can't ignore. That's the thing.
Yeah. I don't think Jim France has the best self-awareness because I think it was in the wake of the Penske stuff last May where like a week later a report comes out that, Jim France wants to run a Cup car. And it's like, well, Jim, read the room. What did you just read the room? And then I think it was Spire. Yeah. They were going to team up with Spire to do it or something. And then that fizzled out. And they were like, well, why was everybody so mad? It was just an idea. And it's like, did you not read the news in the entire month of May? Come on, Jim. So yeah, I could see something kind of clueless just happening, and them not being aware of what it looks like.
Yeah,
definitely. And we have a Patreon comment who gives us one of these. This is from Finley. Trackhouse will feature a current Indy 500 only or former IndyCar driver at Watkins Glen with Wendy's and Fox as sponsors to promote the Indy 500 2 weeks later.
Oh,
I like that because Watkins Glen's in that new spot in May.
Yeah,
it would work out.
If the Indy GP wasn't that same weekend, I could definitely see it being a current driver. Well, then yeah, it would be an Indy 500 only driver. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like someone that's not going to run the Indy GP that same weekend.
Did I see a headline that Fernando Alonso is rumored? Didn't I see that today? Or am I totally making that up?
I've been hearing that.
Alonso said that he'd be interested in doing it again and he'd love to.
Okay,
I think that was what
I saw.
McLaren he was talking to.
Yes, McLaren, yeah.
That'd be cool.
Him in a stock car, Trackhouse. I could maybe see it. That'd be kind of cool. I could obviously Elio could come back and run an actual race. That would be great, but I don't see that happening.
That'd be nice.
That would be. I mean, the partnership's already there.
I still can't believe they put Castroneves in an ARCA car at Daytona. I know they had. I know they had to, but like that was. I mean, he had a good race, and then he didn't get wrecked across the line. I'm like, man, this poor guy.
That was last year, right?
That was last year.
I'm getting old. It's like it feels like it was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Was that 25 or was that 24? Maybe it was.
It was last year.
Yeah, you're right. It was 2025. Feels like a long time ago.
24 and 25 are like blending together for me. They're two very similar seasons for some reason in my brain. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So when I read this comment from Finley, when I was thinking current Indy 500 only or former IndyCar driver, my first thought was Ryan Hunter-Reay, who only does the Indy 500 nowadays, former winner of the Indy 500. He's also done some things for Fox. He's done the Indy Next booth here and there. And he was also rumored to be in the pits with Jack Harvey, but that ultimately did not happen. So I could see that kind of connection being there if it's a Fox sponsorship specifically. this would be a really cool partnership. I love this idea. If it's not someone like that, maybe they throw Jack Harvey in there. Just
That's what I'm laughing at.
Sports employee.
Poor Jack Harvey.
Because he's also an Indy 500 only driver.
They make him do awful things. Like, I feel bad for him. He does not look like he's having fun.
The safest choice, I could tell you, is Connor Daly. Is that the most exciting one? No, but he's done NASCAR before.
Catherine Legg.
He has the Catherine Legg would be awesome.
God, that would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if like Elf Cosmetics comes back. Oh, that would be really fun. Because she's done a lot of road courses in the O'Reilly series. I don't know if she's I think she's made a road course start in the Cup car.
I think she did a couple last year. Yeah, I'd have to go back and check.
She was at Mexico. So that would actually be really cool. I don't know if Trackhouse would be interested in that, but if there's sponsorship, I mean, that would be a really good deal. That would be really cool for everybody. So Catherine Legg's my vote for voting, but we're not. So,
Eric, do you have any thoughts on this one?
No, I just think it's. I mentioned Alonso because I saw a headline, and I'm thinking of they've put Jenson Button in. Which car was he in? He was in a Rick Ware car.
Rick Ware.
Yeah.
15.
They put Raikkonen.
Taylor.
Yeah, I was thinking. I just was like F1. Like they put Raikkonen in the 91 for Watkins Glen a couple of years ago, and I thought he held his own until I think there was a wreck and on a restart he got swept up in. So I was just thinking of other F1 guys who've done Indy like Alonso, and I don't know. I don't know what his schedule looks like. I don't know. I know he's had some good and bad days at Indianapolis in the past, so I don't know if he'd be up for it again. Like it sounds like he would, but we'll see. That'd be cool. It'd be cool to see him in NASCAR, though.
Yeah, for sure. And now this is an interesting one. How many different winners do you think we'll have this year? Because we don't have win and you're in anymore. I don't think you're going to see as much desperation. Eric, how many winners do you think we're going to see this year? We usually see around like 14 lately.
Yeah, I think we will see. We're not going to see 19 like we did 4 years ago, whenever that was.
No.
Yeah.
But I think we'll still see around 14 because I think there are just too many good drivers. Like I think Ross Chastain, he's not in a top car, but he's too good. Reddick, he's too good to go winless again. And then there's the unknowns of Zilisch. Ryan Preece just won a race. Maybe he can win a points race. I think there are too many good drivers in B tier cars that enough of them are going to break through to win some races.
Yeah. And we're going to Richmond. Zack. Austin Dillon's going for 3 in a row at Richmond. So go ahead and mark him down. I'm just saying. And like
I'm not a betting guy, but I want to see the odds for Richmond. Like I want to see if Austin Dillon actually is like third odds for Richmond this year. That'd be crazy.
I feel like I have to go.
I believe it.
I want to see it because I live near Richmond, but I didn't go the last 2 times and he won them. So I'm like, okay, maybe I don't need to go. So it happens.
I'd love for Austin Dillon to win just this year because he has a really cool paint scheme now. Like just on that alone. Zach, how many do you think how many winners will we have this year, Zach?
I don't know. It's like I don't know. This is harder than guessing this or the Daytona 500 poll. Like 14's a good number. I don't know. Like so because there's guys again like Tyler Reddick. He's probably going to win again this year. Like RFK we talked about earlier. But there's going to be some guys like Austin Cindric. Is he going to get a win this year? I just know, Josh Berry and Austin Dillon were really the only wild card winners last year. And they won them in they weren't wild card races. They won them straight up. That's the weird thing about it. And what is the interesting question is, are there going to be less wild card winners because of, win and in's gone? Like our team's going to take less chances on strategy and focus more on stage points and stuff. Will there be less random winners? But again, winning still pays a lot of points, so it might balance it out anyways. So I'll stick with 14. 14's a good number.
Thinking it's going to go down a little bit, not by a lot. I'm thinking like 13.
Yeah, just one.
I think there's a better chance it goes. I'd take the under 14 and a half before I'd take the over, but I think it'll be right around 14.
It's been kind of think you're going to see.
I think you're going to see more guys just win more. Like the top guys are going to win more because the wins, I think, actually mean more now that we're past the win and you're in format.
Well, Twitter said they're going to be messing around during the summer testing for the chase, so I'm going to believe what Twitter
says a lot of things. Well, let's talk about the champion. We have 2 Patreon comments to talk about the champion. Let's talk about those first. Finley says Christopher Bell's going to get it. And Phil says Denny Hamlin, as we mentioned earlier. So any comments on either of those before we make our own predictions?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and agree with Finley because Christopher Bell is exactly who I was going to pick. He has been the guy, like I believe the last 2 years, if he ran the chase, like a 10-race chase, Christopher Bell is the champion. I might be wrong on that. But like in terms of like average finish in the chase the past 2 years, he's had like a really good average finish. What's bit him is like not getting the win and not advancing in the actual playoff format that was going on.
Right.
But he is not only strong, but JGR is the strongest team on intermediate tracks. And there's a lot of intermediate tracks in the chase again. And, you know, we have questions about Denny Hamlin. Chase Briscoe isn't 100% proven yet. This is Christopher Bell's year to, like, you know, you don't need to win. It's nice, but you don't need to win. Being consistent like that 20 team is and has been, that's going to win them a championship this year, I think.
I like that.
So that's,
Eric,
I think that's your strongest pick.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was picking between the Gibbs guys, honestly, if you could do like a 3-sided coin between Briscoe, Bell, and Hamlin, because I think Chase Briscoe, you know, again, I'm going to overreact to the clash one more time. He was the best. Maybe Ty was good, but Briscoe, he's not missing a beat since the second half of last year. They have been just so consistent. But no, you know what? This is going to be crazy. Everyone thinks that because Phoenix is no longer the finale, Penske, their reign is finally over. Ryan Blaney's my pick to be the number 1 seed at the end of the regular season. I'm just going to stick with Ryan Blaney to win the championship for now, because I think last year he had the best all-around speed. Wasn't quite as good as the Gibbs cars at the intermediates, but he was better than them at the short flat tracks, better than them at the super speedways usually. They were bogged down by so many weird DNFs, wrecks, couple of engine failures. Kind of like my host of our argument, my guess is he will have less DNFs this year, and if they keep the same speed, I think Blaney will be a threat for the championship. So I'll go Blaney for now, but I might change that later. I haven't made my official. I to give myself some room to figure that one out.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I think both of those are great picks, and I think this format benefits both of them more than the previous format. And my pick is neither of those, but I think this guy also benefits from the chase, and that's William Byron. I think he, just like Christopher Bell, sorry. I think just like Christopher Bell is really going to benefit from the chase format. He's also someone who can have a lot of consistency. I really think he's going to have a really good year. I think this is the year he's finally going to not go into a little bit of a slump in the summer. And maybe that's because they're testing. I don't know what they were doing before, but I feel good about Byron going into this year.
He is kind of like Hendrick's version of Christopher Bell. He might not win when he really needs to all the time, but you don't need to necessarily win to win the championship anymore. So but it is nice. And that's why it's like, again, you run the simulations last year with the new win bonus. It's like Kyle Larson just barely edges out over Christopher Bell to win the championship. It's like, that's something we still have to consider. Like, winning is still going to be very important. So those guys like Larson and Hamlin that do win the races a lot and consistently, they're still going to have a really good shot in those 10 races. But I think all of our arguments, they're going to have much better chances this year.
Something I want to point out, we all picked someone from each manufacturer. I picked a Chevy, Zack, you picked a Toyota, and Eric, you picked a Ford. I think that shows a lot that this is just it's still anyone's game.
Have you guys seen the commercial? It's like just the NASCAR preseason commercial, and it's got Joey Logano, and he says, "Even year." I don't know if y'all see.
Really?
I love how
I have not seen this.
Yeah, they make Joey say "even year." It's like, ooh. I don't. It's a new format. Joey Logano knows how to play any game. I'm just saying. And as Eric said earlier, watch Penske. They know how to win championships.
Hey, that theory of Joey, like, I think we're gonna find out this year if Joey still has it, because like Joey's won 2 championships in the last 4 years or whatever, but it doesn't feel like we're in the most dominant. Like, I feel like Joey Logano in 2015, 2016, 2017 was scarier than he's been the last few years.
Oh, definitely.
He's won the right races is what he's been able to do. So to your point, if he's now like, if he shows up this year and is the model of consistency and is running 7th every week, even on bad days, I'll be extremely impressed. But part of me is worried they're still going to be kind of up and down, 10th, 11th, 12th place, maybe a win here or there. Like, I don't know, but I think we're going to find out this year if Joey Logano is still, as feared as he once was.
Penske has always
made a point that.
Go ahead.
You made a point that Logano always won the right races. There's not really a right race anymore. Yeah. So it's gonna have to be good across the board now, and he just hasn't been, as you said.
We've brought this up before. Like, I think Penske, and this is across the whole, like, their whole motorsports like branch, they always like have a interesting way to focus on things. Like in IndyCar, they'll sacrifice their season, not necessarily on purpose, but if they're having a bad or not up to expectation season, they still show up to the Indy 500. What's important, and they compete. NASCAR, they might not be good on the intermediates, but they're going to be good at Phoenix and they're going to contend for that championship, right? Now with this format, it's, they might not be that good in the summer months. They might not win a lot in the summer months. Maybe they're taking a part of the playbook from the Jimmy and Chad playbook. I test a little bit in the summer, still make the chase, but then show up to those final 10 races. It's okay. We didn't seed that well, but we won half the regular season or half the chase races, and we won the championship. So
yeah,
just watch Penske.
For sure. Well, now let's transition over to the Daytona 500. That's coming up. And for context, we are recording this the night after the Clash finally finished. So we're making these very well in advance. Like, we're not waiting until after qualifying. This is very early. So first question, how many cars are going to finish at the checkered flag? That's probably the easiest question we have, actually.
Is it?
Eric, what do you think?
Actually,
it might be.
That's true. There's a ballpark.
I mean, the next gen's pretty durable, so I'll go. There'll be some wounded cars. I'll go 32.
Really?
32.
I mean,
is that a lot or is that not very many? I don't even know. This is not a stat I think about.
Even the July race had a lot of carnage, but that was just that weird early wreck. I am wondering if we're going to have like that type of racing we had in the July race where handling matters, because that could also kind of impact things. I'm going to say, I guess if I say this, it's going to be a really, really attrition filled race. 17.
17.
17.
Wow. I think I'm going to go. I'm going right in the middle with you guys. I'm going to go with 24.
24.
I think we're going to have some wrecks as we usually do. I do see 32 though, because we don't have the old DVP rule necessarily. They can come back out.
I think you'll see 20 at the white flag. Like, you're not going to see 17 at the checkered flag. A lot happens in the 2.5 mile, as William Byron knows. Like, so
yeah.
Saying, yeah.
Poll for the Daytona 500 has been Hendrick quite a lot. Random.org?
No, I'm just kidding. Random. I mean, take your pick. There used to be a lot more predictable.
Last year was random. Yeah, last year was random. It was Chase Briscoe out of nowhere, and I think it was it Cindric on the front row?
Yeah.
And like that doesn't sound random because Penske's good at super speedways, but they're usually better in the draft than they are single car speed. So I felt like it was very random last. I'm just going to go Briscoe again. They were also good in I think they qualified front row at Talladega in the fall.
They did.
Yep.
So I'll go Briscoe again, but it's a crapshoot.
There are like certain trends with super speedway qualifying. Like, you'll see the same names. It's not all from the same manufacturer anymore, which is the weird part. One of those names is Kyle Busch, and I'm going to pick Kyle Busch because I think Kyle Busch is going to win the pole for the Daytona 500.
His farewell Daytona 500 on the pole. Yes.
Just like Jeff Gordon in 2015. Yeah.
It fits the old conspiracy theory that they would rig it. Yeah. So Kyle Busch, farewell season on the pole.
Oh my gosh. I'm just saying, Kyle Busch. I think Twitter will be very fun that night. So
I'm going to go very similarly, happy, good vibes story. I'm going with Denny Hamlin. Going to get the pole.
Oh, stop. That's going to make me cry.
Right.
So I need to bring tissues Wednesday night. Like that would literally make me cry.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think I don't know if he's ever won the pole at Daytona in the 500. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I remember one.
I'm not sure either. And like, you can call it pointless or whatever. I used to love how big of a deal winning the pole was, especially back when the team still built the cars and when it happened like a week before the 500. And they got to sit with it for a whole week. Still a little, I feel like it's a little weird on Wednesday night, but that's a whole conversation for another day.
Right.
Who gets bumped from the Daytona 500? And I feel like I'm getting deja vu because Chandler Smith back in the 36 car for front row, Justin Allgaier's back in the 40 Junior Motorsports. See JJ Yaley 44. Beard Motorsports has Anthony Alfredo, Casey Mears for Garage 66, Corey Heim making hopefully his debut in the Daytona 500 if he can make it in. BJ McLeod in the 78, Corey LaJoie in the RFK 99, and then Jimmy Johnson is already locked in with a modified version of the exemption provisional, which
good change by the way. But
good changes all around. Did you guys see the note about like how the top two open cars in qualifying won't race for spots in the dual race?
Yeah, it's like top two and speed on Wednesday are in.
Right.
Yep.
Right, because there was that weird situation one year where like Cindric was already locked in, but then he kept Ty Dillon from getting into the show. That won't happen anymore, thankfully, because it was a weird.
It was just really complicated for no reason.
It was.
So yeah. Oh
yeah. Oh, I'm scared.
Zack just left. Welcome back, Zack.
I'm back. Sorry.
So let's see. If we're looking at this, I don't like JJ Yaley's chances of making the 500. Casey Mears feels like that could be an underdog choice, maybe. I feel like someone's going to get in a wreck, and I want to say it's going to be Corey LaJoie.
True. Yeah, someone's going to get in a wreck. I didn't even think about that.
It's just who's going to make Twitter have a bunch of comments?
Chandler Smith,
and I think Chandler Smith or Corey LaJoie.
Yeah.
Was it last year wasn't Chandler kind of a missile in the duels last year? Or was that when
he was? Yeah, no, I remember now. He cleared himself. No, he cleared himself in the duel last year. It might have been the truck race too, to be fair, but I think he cleared himself.
There was something at Daytona that made me go, "Oh, Chandler, watch out, buddy." I think LaJoie is in the fastest car of those 8. And if he has teammates in his duel, I mean, he might qualify in on speed. That car's so fast.
I think
that's
but
true.
If he doesn't, and he has teammates in his duel, I think LaJoie, he does wreck a lot. That is true. Cannot deny that. But he's also got a couple of top 10s at Daytona. So something about this style of racing, he seems to have a knack for it, or it's dumb luck. He'll be in a good car. I like LaJoie. Yeah, I agree. I think Yaley, Mears. I mean, he's Casey Mears. He's trying to get to 500 starts. This is a tough one, though. He's not in a great car. BJ McLeod, again, drafting help matters. I remember Yaley a couple of years ago was a half a straightaway away from beating Jimmy Johnson to make the show, but Jimmy got the draft. Yaley got shuffled out of line, and he lost it. So, yeah, I do think having manufacturer help and teammate help matters. So I'm going to go chalky here and say Allgaier, LaJoie, Heim. I guess there's still one wild card, Chandler or Alfredo. Chandler has more teammates, but Anthony Alfredo, I think flip a coin between those two. I might go Alfredo, actually. Okay, I'll go one kind of sneaky pick. Give me Alfredo for that final spot.
I like that.
You would think Chandler Smith would qualify better because front row normally is really good in super speedway qualifying.
That's true. McDowell won a lot of poles there.
That is true too.
Zane Smith did too. Zane Smith won a pole at Talladega. That's what's really weird. But he's never because Chandler Smith never is able to replicate that kind of performance. And they, it is a third team for them. They don't normally run a third team. Because I think my pick, I gravitate towards just picking the obvious, Corey LaJoie will probably qualify in on time. I could see Justin Allgaier maybe qualifying in on time, and then I don't know, Heim will have drafting help, and then flip a coin between Alfredo and Smith. I'm kind of with Eric, I'm
with you guys on that.
I think I'm leaning Smith though now because you're right, he might make it in on speed because of how good front row is.
But like the previous years, he's been with that, or was he with wasn't he in the 66 last year? Actually,
he might have been in the 60s. Man, I'm gonna look it up. I don't even know.
Yeah, and I don't see. Eric's our new producer. He's looking up our stats. The producer we don't have. You want a new job, Eric? God.
Okay.
I do think Chandler was in the 36 last year.
I don't know.
The 66. I don't.
He was in the
remember who that
66
was.
at some point.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
Either way.
He was 66 last year in DNQ'd.
So the
Really?
36 might make a difference this year. I think he's been in the 36 before, but it was a few years ago.
He was
Okay.
He's been in the 13 at Daytona, the summer race, and then he also
right.
DNQ'd in the 13 in 2023. So he is 0 for 2 in Daytona 500.
Wow.
Right.
If Racing Reference is to be trusted, which it usually is. So
So he's never.
Something to
This
watch.
is a big deal. I feel like I get deja vu when I saw Chandler Smith's name. I'm like, again, like he still hasn't really made the 500. Like,
Yeah.
0 for 2 apparently. So maybe third time is the charm.
all right, well,
Yeah. Well, now let's predict the winner, which I think is the hardest of all these questions, to be honest. Eric, let's have you start. Who's your Daytona 500 winner?
I always like to pick someone that's believable, but I also like the storyline. I think last year I picked Kyle Busch because I think it was his 20th attempt, and it was the whole, 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Yeah. And he'd been close in recent years. He almost won the summer race 2 years ago. So that felt like a reasonable pick. Didn't work out. So I'm trying to come up with one that's believable, but still kind of fun. Come back to me if you don't mind. I'm gonna give me like a minute to think about it.
let me take the wheel. And
Go for it.
I think, RFK got off to a great start with the Clash, Ryan Preece. We talked about how they're going to have a great season with the chase coming back. That fits their style. I think Brad Keselowski is finally going to win the Daytona 500 as an owner, because Chris Buescher is going to be the one that actually wins it in the driver's seat. Number 17, well, Eric's here. The number 17 is going to win. Shout out Matt Kenseth. And just another thing too, like I was just thinking about how Matt Kenseth won his 2 Daytona 500s with like weather impacted like races. There might be weather impacting this one this year. We had crazy weather at the Clash. I just have a feeling about Chris Buescher this year. He's won at Daytona before. He's one of the fastest cars there normally at the end. It's not going to be Brad Keselowski. I thought about picking Brad. That's why I baited y'all. It's not going to be Brad. There's questions with his injury and stuff. I think it's going to be Chris Buescher.
Yeah.
So
Zach, no lie, I was also going to pick Chris Buescher. I also get a feeling for him right now. Yeah. So just to be different, and because these are our fantasy picks, we don't pick the same person. I'm going to go with Ryan Preece. I think he's going to go back to back the Clash in Daytona and then get redemption. And he won't flip this time.
I'm about to say he might be doing back-to-back flips. Like,
yeah, back-to-back
flips.
Eric,
I'm still mad at him.
Are you sticking with RFK? Or are you going to go with someone else?
Man, yeah, y'all are both going with Roush guys. I mean, they're usually fast.
You want to pick LaJoy?
I think Bubba Wallace. No. I'm gonna go Bubba Wallace. I think he won a duel last year. He's won it. It was a rain short race, but he's won Talladega before. We've seen him lead a lot of laps in this style of racing. If Heim makes the field, he's got an extra teammate.
True.
I'll go Bubba. Why not? But I'll change that again.
Really
Sorry.
good at Daytona.
Yeah, I mean he's finished runner-up in the 500 twice, I think. Yeah. So I mean, I think he's been there before.
I just hope we get a race like we saw in July, where handling matters, and we don't see the guy who's 8th place on the backstretch win because everyone else wrecked.
Please. All right. I like these. Chris Buescher, though, that was my original pick, Zach. I feel it for Buescher. It's not just because Eric's here in the 17, whatever. I really do think Buescher is going to have a good year, potentially the 500.
Yeah, I think this RFK story is going to continue.
Yeah. And
that's funny.
It's also the feel good factor of Roush if they were to win with the whole Greg Biffle storyline as well. They have the Biffle font. I'm not saying that's why I'm picking them. I feel like they're going to win on performance, but it would also be a really good feel good story, and I think that would help the sport heal, as we've seen with other wins before.
Yeah.
I agree. That'd be really cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, any other predictions before we wrap this up?
Greg was just another little add to the RFK thing. Greg was second to, he was second to Matt Kenseth in 2012, or was he third? He was on third. He was third. Dale Jr. I should remember that. I was the Dale Jr. fan. I was mad at Greg Biffle.
He was
actually.
Oh, Biffle was the best teammate in the world that day. I'll never forget.
Yeah. But 17 car going back to victory lane. Roush too. I don't think Roush has won since those Kenseth 500s. Might be the only.
And how about Hocevar gets Best Buy into victory lane in the Friday night truck race, so we get Best Buy in the 17.
Oh wait!
now I'm loving it.
All the Roush references.
Wow,
great!
I like it.
That's a stacked truck field. That'd be a good win for him.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's gonna be the truck race. Nobody's talking about the O'Reilly race. Sorry, O'Reilly series. You're great everywhere else, but at Daytona, the focus is gonna be on trucks and the 500. It's good. The truck field is insane.
Definitely.
Yeah, they need to put Tony
Stewart's going to be in that. That's crazy.
They need to put Tony Stewart in the O'Reilly race.
Stewart, Travis Pastrana, Cletus McFarland. Like, it's the weirdest, wildest, star-studded truck lineup you could ever expect. Ricky Stenhouse going to be out there, and what's going on?
Like, that's going to be cinema.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to actually care for that race. So I don't normally watch trucks. I'm excited for that. Well, we're going to wrap up then. Eric, thank you so much for joining us. This was so much fun.
So fun.
Yeah, no, appreciate y'all inviting me. This was a good time, good way to kind of wrap my head around the start of the new year. Storylines are beginning to develop. There's a lot to watch. It's exciting. So this was a blast. I really appreciate y'all having me on.
Of course. And let everyone know where they can follow you.
Yes. YouTube, like I said, the show is called Out of the Groove, but the channel is just my name with a Simpsons looking version of my face. It's yellow. If you see yellow and you see my name's right here. That's me. And that's also my Twitter handle, where I'm probably the second most active. So give it a follow. Like I said, I mostly just tweet during race weekend, but it's fun. New year, new content, exciting stuff.
Yeah. Just go to the YouTube and search bar, search in NASCAR. You'll get Eric. You'll find him somewhere.
And our Patreon members got this episode early. So if you want any other special episodes like this early, you can do that at patreon.com/GayRacingPod for $5 a month. And if you want to join a discussion that we had throughout, that's just $2 a month. And we're doing that all year round with the little discussion parts. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube and leave 5 stars on the podcast platforms. And follow Zach and I on social media at Newgaden. And Zach, you got a new handle on social media at Zach_Racing, and on Blue Sky it's at
Zach_Racing on Twitter. Yeah, Blue Sky it's just Zach Racing, but none of y'all got Blue Sky anyways. So I'm just kidding. Most of y'all, a lot of our listeners do have Blue Sky, but yeah Zach Racing. I don't know. You'll find me.
The podcast itself is at Gay Racing Pod on all the platforms.
And the next time you'll be seeing me and Alex, we'll be talking about whoever won the Daytona 500. And I hope we won't be as depressed and stuff as we were last year, because oh my gosh. Anyways, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you. So I'm telling you, the Daytona 500 was in a dark age last year. It was just not a good finish to the event. We will see you guys next time. Thank you so much, Eric. Bye bye. Stay safe.